Thank you for joining us for this Spotlight on Community Agencies hosted by the Fredericksburg Area Council on Transition. This presentation is being recorded and can be accessed at any time along with the presentation slides we are about to present at factfred.com under the Previous Sessions and Recordings tab. Again, welcome and let's get started. Kim Lett is going to be our first presenter. Kim Lett, a mother of a 33-year-old son with autism, has worked in the disability field for 30 years throughout the U.S. She has worked at the Disability Resource Center in Fredericksburg for the past 16 years, first as youth coordinator and now as program manager and deputy director, and is here to share.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's good to be here. I'm going to be talking about the Disability Resource Center. What's it all about? What exactly do we do at the Disability Resource Center? The Disability Resource Center is a center for independent living. We call them CILS, C-I-L-S. The Disability Resource Center is one of 17 CILS in Virginia. And we work with people who live in Fredericksburg, Stafford, Spotsylvania, King George, and Caroline. CILS actually were formed back in the 1970s in Berkeley in California, and they've spread to 400 nationwide to almost 600 across the world. All centers for independent living serve people of all ages and all disability types. So from the itty bitties to the older folks, to people with sensory, physical, behavioral disabilities, all different types. Independent living is what we're all about. We're all, CILS are part of what's called the IL movement, the independent living movement. That is, independent living is living like everyone else. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to live by yourself, but it means doing activities of one's own choosing, regardless of their disability, having opportunities to make decisions about your life. I always call it having a voice and a choice. Everybody should have a voice and a choice in their life. People with disabilities have a right to participate in all aspects of community living. And by the way, that's my cute little son in the red coat with one of his personal attendants. All services at the Disability Resource Center are free. The only time we might charge is if we had a speaker for some event that was going to charge us a large fee, that we might ask for a little reimbursement. But for the most part, all of our services are free. To be a center for independent living, 50% of the staff and the board must be people with disabilities. Many of us are family members of those with disabilities. This picture is one of our board at a gala that we had a few years ago. As a center for independent living, we must offer 5 main services. For the longest time, it was 4 main services, and they added the 5th main service probably about 5 to 7 years ago, I think. The biggest service that we do is information and referral. People will call us wanting to know about housing or transportation or Social Security or another community service in our area, or what's my child going to do when they turn 18. So the biggest service by far is information and referral. Independent living skills training is another service we provide. That is mainly for adults. We do not ask somebody what their disability is when they arrive at our door. We don't assess them. They come in, let us know what they would like to learn and do, or where they would like what they would like to do in their life, and we will work with them to set a goal and work with them to try and meet those independent living goals. Sometimes people will come in not knowing exactly what they want, but knowing that their life needs to go forward and not knowing how to make that happen. So we will talk with them and discuss with them, different aspects about their life, about what they'd like to do, and from there write some goals and help them to meet those goals. It could be something like not knowing how to ask somebody at work for help. How am I going to do that? It could be, I have no idea how to cook. I'm moving out on my own. I have no idea how to cook. Or I'm moving out on my own. I'm getting Social Security and I have no idea how to manage my money. So those are just examples of independent living skills. We also provide advocacy. That's teaching people with disabilities self-advocacy. Many times family members or others have spoken for a person with a disability, and we like to let them know and work with them to teach them they do have that voice and that choice. Peer counseling, that is somebody with a disability talking with somebody with a disability, because we know where they've been and what they're experiencing. We had a woman call the office the other day saying, you know, she's taken care of her mother for years and years, and she has to lift her and move her. And we had no idea what her life was like. I think she was talking to our director at the time, and the director, who is the mother of an adult son who uses a wheelchair, says, oh yes, indeed I do. I, you know, have to transfer my son and lift him and help him bathe and so forth. So yes, I know. So that is one of the good things about the Disability Resource Center. And the fifth service that they added several years ago was transition. That is both transition from institutional care back to one's own home, or you know, one's own home. It could be with family members, but it's out of the institution, out of a nursing home. The other is transition from school to work, working with families, helping them to work with their child on transitioning from school to work. We had a lady in the other day, and I took FACT's transition guide, and if you all haven't seen that, please let any one of us know. We can get you a copy. It's a fantastic tool. I sat down with her and went over all the different aspects of transition and different timelines and so forth. And we're keeping in touch with her to see how that's going. So those are our 5 main services. And we also provide trainings and activities. Each SIL can offer whatever training and activity they would like for their local community. One of the extra services that we provide is our equipment connection. It's located on Princess Anne Street in Fredericksburg. We have a building in which people drop off pieces of equipment to us that they no longer need. We fix them up and give them back out for others to use. There is no cost to this. All the equipment is free, and you are welcome to use it as long as you need it. There's no timeline. If you find you no longer need a piece of equipment and it's still usable, then we welcome you to donate it back to the equipment connection. We give out over 2,000 pieces of equipment a year, from hospital beds to bedside commodes, to wheelchairs, walkers, canes, you name it, we've got it. This is just some example of some of the groups that we have. One is the empowerment group. That's our peer support group that meets on Wednesday afternoon. It is for adults. It's turned into a leadership group, a social group, a friendship. I mean, the folks in that group have grown together, talked about different disabilities, about their lives. It's a good group to be a part of. The middle flyer there is the Wells Siblings Squad flyer, and that is a group that we have supported. They hold support activities for brothers and sisters of those with disabilities. Ignite Change is our advocacy group. They meet on Tuesdays, the 4th Tuesday of the month, I believe. I'd have to check, but that is our advocacy group. They're going to be revving up here pretty soon with the governor's budget that's going to be coming out here in December, and the legislative amendments that go with it. We'll be looking at those things that affect people with disabilities, talking to our legislators, trying to do what's right for the rights of people with disabilities and for the lives of people with disabilities. This is some more things that we do. Our Giving Back Sound campaign is people donate hearing aids to us. We send them to an audiologist who remolds them and fixes them and gives them back out to people that cannot afford them or have no other means of getting hearing aids. We maintain a personal attendant list, which means people that want to be personal attendants, we will put them on a list and give that list out to people that are looking for personal attendants. We don't vet anybody either way. It's just a courtesy that we provide. We do rental modification. We facilitate rental modifications. We don't actually do them ourselves. So if somebody moves into a rental unit and they need some modifications due to their disability, there's a program and some funding for that. There's also a program for veterans modifications called Granting Freedom. We've done 10 of those in the past year, working on 4 more right now. So by the end of the year, we'll probably have 14 of those done. And then Keeping the Beat with Tenny is our weekly exercise class. It's, nutrition, exercise, all in one. All exercises are modified to a person's disability. We ask that you call ahead of time because due to COVID, we can only have so many people in our room at a time. And then finally, we are working on getting a class up for what's called Bingo Size. It's a fall prevention class. It was created for those that are elderly, but it can be anybody is welcome to take that. And then finally, these are just 2 brand new programs that we're going to be starting. One is the Brew Crew, and we're hoping it will become a inclusive social group where folks can just meet at the local coffee shop or the local bar or the local brewery, hence the name Brew Crew, and just get together and talk and so forth. Our first event is going to be on January 29th, which is a Saturday at 2 o'clock at 2530 Expresso on Princess Anne Street. The other group that we're starting is our BEAM group. Our intern from Mary Washington came up with that name, Being Empowered and Motivated. It's going to be every Tuesday night, 6 to 7:30, and it is going to be an independent living group. We'll be working on independent living skills and a variety of different things. That's a quick overview of the Disability Resource Center. If you have any questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat or ask later, or you can call the Disability Resource Center or email us at the links that are listed in front of you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kim. I am pleased to now introduce Jen Akers, Coordinator for Developmental Services Support Coordination, and Patricia Newman, Adult Mental Health Case Management Supervisor, who are going to talk about some of the services that the Rappahannock Area Community Services Board has to offer.
Hey everyone, this is Jen Akers, and I'm going to talk about the Developmental Disability Waiver. So first we'll talk about what a Community Service Board is. And they're points of entry for publicly funded mental health, substance use disorder, and developmental services for intellectual disabilities and developmental disabilities. And we offer various services, including counseling for both individuals and groups of individuals, med management services, case management, and support coordination. Those 2 terms are interchangeable. We have residential services for those individuals with mental health and or IDDD as a diagnosis. And we also have day programs as well. So what is a developmental disabilities waiver? Waiver is a funding source, and it provides home and community-based services to children and adults who have a diagnosis of a developmental disability or a related condition, who require the level of care provided in an intermediate care facility for persons with a developmental disability. So to qualify for ODD waiver, the individual must have a diagnosis of an intellectual disability and or developmental disability as defined by the Code of Virginia and meet certain level of functioning requirements. So you may ask, how do I even get a waiver? Well, in Virginia, there's a very long waiting list, so it's best to go ahead and get on the waiting list if you or someone you know may need support in the future. You'll need to provide documentation of the disability that includes the age of onset, the areas of functioning that are impaired due to the disability, and a diagnosis of a developmental disability. And it must be from a psychologist for an intellectual disability. And for a developmental disability, it can be from a licensed medical profession who can diagnose based on their specialty. And once we have that information, we can then do a screening. You contact us, the numbers are listed there on the slide. And that again will be available on the FactFred website. And we'll let you know where to send the diagnostic paperwork. And then we complete the screenings based on the address of the person being screened. We do ask that most people come to us. If that's absolutely impossible, we can go into the home. We just have so many people that need screening and so few people that can do the screenings. It works better to come in, but we also understand that there are people who are homebound and can't come to us. So we will then also go out. So before I start that, there is no charge for the screening to you. So the individual doesn't have to pay for the screening. We do get some funding for it, but it's not from families. And then it says who qualifies for support coordination. So if you have a diagnosis of intellectual disability prior to the age of 18 and have the need for support coordination, we can open you. For individuals of any age who have a diagnosis of a developmental disability prior to the age of 22 and have a special service need. And any individual who has a DD waiver is required to have support coordination in order to coordinate and monitor those services through the waiver. And what do support coordinators do? We basically assess the individual's needs. We link them to the services to meet their needs and monitor those services and the satisfaction of those services with the individual. One of our biggest barriers is funding because the wait list is so long. If you need a service and there's no funding for it, it's a big barrier for us. And if you want more information about developmental services support coordination, call me. That's my direct line and that's my email right there.
Thanks, Jen. Hi, everyone. I'm Patricia Newman. I'm the supervisor for the Adult Mental Health Case Management Team. And I'm going to talk with you a little bit about some of the mental health services and the substance use services that we have available through the Community Services Board. So at all of our clinics, we offer therapy to both individuals and groups. We offer group therapy, and it's, it kind of varies over time. We have different groups offer different times of the year, kind of based on the need, of the individuals in the community. Most of our therapy services and our groups are done via Zoom right now, but we are slowly getting back to in-person for therapy. So it's a little bit of both. We also offer medication management services with our psychiatrists or our psychiatric nurse practitioners. We also offer mental health case management services. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. And one of the unique things that we do have as a part of the Community Services Board is our supervised apartment program. And that offers transitional residential services to individuals with serious mental illness. And our psychosocial rehabilitation program, which is our Kenmore Club, which is an awesome day program offered to adults with serious mental health concerns. And it offers an opportunity for social activities, but also vocational training opportunities that that chance to kind of develop those job skills, put together a resume, gain some experience before entering into and maybe some employment opportunities in the community. Okay, so who qualifies for adult mental health case management services? So individuals who are over the age of 18 and who are no longer in high school. We have child and adolescent mental health case management services who provide that service to individuals who are under the age of 18 or over the age of 18 and still in high school. So once they graduate, they can transition to our adult services. So individuals must have a primary diagnosis of a severe mental health concern. So that could be major depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, severe anxiety diagnosis. And that mental health concern must impact their lives in a way where it's causing them to struggle to maintain stability, whether it be in their housing, employment, relationships, and such, kind of taking care of their daily needs. And then lastly, the last criteria is that the individual has to have had maybe some previous psychiatric hospitalizations. That might not always be the case with some of our younger folks, so maybe some participation in residential services or residential placement, or receiving intensive in-home or mental health skill building services in the past. All right, so our mental health case managers do a variety of, offer a variety of services or assistance. And yes, I did see that question, and I'll get to that in just a second. Maybe I can answer that at the end. So our mental health case managers, we help individuals to attain benefits. We can help them to apply for Medicaid, food stamps, disability. We can help them to maintain the benefits as well, connect with different services and different resources, provide educational mental health wellnesses, as well as resources and services available in the community. And we can complete referrals to programs like our Kenmore Club and our apartment program, and even other services that are available in the community through providers other than the Community Services Board. So how to schedule an appointment for our mental health services. So if somebody's interested in therapy, whether it be for mental health services or substance use, or they want to see one of our doctors, they would simply call the clinic that's located in the county where they reside, and they'd let the front desk staff know that they'd like to complete an intake. So all of our clinics have different days that they schedule intakes, and we have same day access, so we can try to get those intakes completed as quickly as possible. Now, here in the city of Fredericksburg right now, we do have a waiting list for therapy services, just because we've seen an increase in the need for services, and then also have some staffing constraints too. So unfortunately, we do have a wait list right now, like I said, for the city of Fredericksburg. And then if somebody's interested in mental health case management services, they can simply give me a call. My number is listed right there. And then I have my email address. Can feel free to give me a call or email me. Individuals don't necessarily have to have a formal referral for case management services. They can call themselves, or their family can assist them in calling. Or if you simply have a question about a resource in the community or a different service, if we can help to answer any kind of questions, feel free to give me a call. And let's take a look here. I did see some questions pop up here. Okay, medication management services. Okay, so medication management, if somebody's prescribed a psychiatric medication to treat their mental health concerns, we have psychiatrists or psychiatric nurse practitioners that would meet with the individual and determine if they needed any psychiatric medications. And then they would typically see them once every 3 months or so, depending on the individual's needs, sometimes more often than that, to continue to prescribe that medication. And then, of course, monitor the individual's response to the medication for those symptoms. I hopefully answered that question for you. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay.
We may have some more at the very end.
Sure. I'll feel free to type any other questions in, and if we can answer, we certainly will. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Patricia. Okay, and now we're going to introduce Erin Hudgins, who's the vocational counselor of the Department for Aging and Rehabilitative Services, also known as DARS, who's going to talk about the services provided by DARS.
Thanks, Courtney. So yes, as Courtney said, I am a vocational counselor with the Department for Aging and Rehab. So what DARS does is we assist individuals with disabilities find employment, and that can look like a variety of different things depending on the needs of the client. So our services are very individualized to each client. We are an eligibility program. So we do have to receive documentation of the disability in order to provide those services to our clients. They also have to be a Virginian with a disability. So they have to live, work, or go to school in the state of Virginia in order to receive our services. So what are some of the services that our agency can provide to our clients? The main service that we provide is career counseling and guidance. So helping our clients to determine what exactly they want to do in terms of employment and helping them figure that out. We also provide job coaching services. That is a contracted out service outside of our agency. So we look to other vendors in the area to provide that service to those clients who may need additional support on the job site. Vocational evaluation and additional career exploration, as well as some vocational training and additional education to those clients who wish to pursue that, such as CNA or HVAC. Vocational trades are very popular right now and in high demand. Or it may look like higher education after high school. We also obviously help our clients with the job placement and assistance. So interview prep, resume development, as well as those clients who may still be in high school and haven't really had any work experience or have no work history. We can assist them in workplace assessments, accommodation needs. We have a rehab team that we have. So those clients who may need assistive technology, those types of things, we have that in place. We also have the Wilson Workforce and Rehabilitation Center. If some of you are familiar with the WWRC, you do have to be a client of DARS in order to attend WWRC. And it is a vocational training center designed for our clients. It has a wide variety of training programs. I believe it's about 27 different vocational trades, from HVAC, cosmetology, materials handling, woodworking, carpentry, electrician. They're not only vocationally based, but they also help with that independent living piece. So some of you may be familiar with the PERT program for those students who are still in high school, where they get to go on campus and stay on campus for 5 days and complete some career exploration, independent living evaluations, as well as the 9-week independent living prep program, which is a job readiness independent living program for those students prior to completing any sort of vocational training program at WWRC. Wilson is also very popular for their driving programs, where students can receive driving lessons, learner's permit training with occupational therapists there at the center. And this is our contact information. So if you are interested in services, this is our office address and the main office line number right there, if you have any questions or want to schedule an appointment. I think that's our last slide.
Erin. Appreciate all the information. And remember, we are going to be getting these slides out to everyone at the end. Okay, and finally, Rappahannock Goodwill Industries is going to share how they offer more than just Goodwill stores in the community. I would like to welcome Shanna Bouchard, Manager of Employment Programs, to speak about all the career development programs that Rappahannock Goodwill Industries has to offer.
Hi, thank you, Courtney. Thank you everyone for having me. As she said, I'm Shanna Bouchard with Rappahannock Goodwill Industries, and I manage our employment programs. As you can see, our mission is to create jobs locally, prepare people to succeed at work, and help them overcome barriers to employment, specifically individuals who might have disabilities as a barrier to employment. So I want to talk about kind of two different avenues for helping individuals with barriers to employment who are interested in working. I want to talk about our supported employment programs, which include both individual supported employment and then a competitive integrated group employment program, which is still competitive integrated employment, just in a slightly more supportive environment. We also operate in our region, the Virginia CareerWorks Fredericksburg Center, which is physically, the location is what a lot of people know as the Virginia Employment Commission, the VEC, and that is just one partner in that facility. There are many partners. A lot of the partners are on this call tonight. So that is just a one-stop shop, if you will, for anyone who is seeking employment services in Virginia. So Goodwill manages the office in this planning district, but we are just one partner actually of that facility. One of the programs specifically that we do run in the Virginia, the CareerWorks Center is the Wioa program, the Title I program. So Wioa stands for Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And it's a pot of money that can assist with training. There's different kind of avenues for training, but specifically tonight, I'll talk about the youth programs. Everything that we do, we want to just help you on your journey to employment. So as you can see, we offer different avenues for that. A lot of what you'll see on the screen is kind of depictions of employment in the community. What are you looking for? We want to help you find that perfect fit for you beyond school. Our supported employment timeline, how does it work? Can I just walk in the door at Goodwill and say, I want a job coach, help me out? Not really. You have to go through actually in the state of Virginia, it is DARS who spoke right before me. So they can refer somebody who's interested in employment programs to our services we're just one vendor for DARS. So we're just one employment service organization that they can possibly refer people to. But that is kind of that's the avenue to get into that supported employment program. So individuals coming in can be either funded through DARS. They can also be funded through Medicaid waiver. That referral process kind of looks the same. You still need to go through DARS to do that. If you select Goodwill as a provider, we can talk to you about what we can offer, kind of the steps that we take to offer employment programs. We'll do that through, if you choose us, we'll have kind of an information and referral meeting, an intake meeting, learn all about you or your child, and kind of create the employment plan that will hopefully lead to success. So the staff ratios for this program, talking about the Goodwill programs, and then we'll move into Wioa. So competitive integrated group is still a supported employment program. An individual, if you are referred through this program, your DARS counselor will have kind of identified the need for that. But it is a staff ratio of 1 to 4. So one employment specialist, one Goodwill employment specialist to up to 4 participants, employees at a time. Now the employee, you're still working competitively for Rappahannock Goodwill Industries in a Goodwill facility. So to come into the CIG program, you have to have an interest in something that Goodwill offers employment-wise, whether that be our thrift stores, which is what most people know us for. I purposely kind of skipped over that, but we do have thrift stores. So you have to kind of have that interest in working in a thrift environment. Our online retail stores. So we have Goodwill online sales, we call it e-commerce. Custodial or kind of warehouse jobs are the kind of the flavor of jobs that you can participate in as part of the CIG program. So you're working directly for Goodwill, just with the support of an employment specialist who can also support other employees with disabilities at a time, but you're working side by side with employees without disabilities as well. So that's what makes it competitive and integrated. If you're coming in through supported employment, you work one-on-one with a job coach. So sorry, thanks. I should have kind of moved on. So that's the ratio. So if CIG is a little more supportive, individual supported employment, working one-on-one with the job coach. So I'll get to that. But as you can see, I kind of went over this for CIG. The important thing to note about this is that it is not an equated term as a workshop model. You are working competitively for an employer. It's just for somebody who it's kind of a step process, if you will, if you're not quite ready to go out and work without the support of a job coach. We help you a little more with all of the things that you need to be successful on the job. So we help you learn how to interact with your manager, how to go through things like performance reviews and following the workplace routine, and how to think about work, health and safety on the job, how to really be successful. We want you to help you learn those steps before you might go out and get another job outside of Goodwill. So again, this is a supported employment program. It's just for somebody who might not quite be ready to do individual supported employment. So next slide. So as I said, the CIG positions are all within Goodwill right now. So you're working directly either for the physical location is our Market Street location. For those of you familiar, it's in the Massaponax area, it's the giant 2-story Goodwill building. So we have our e-commerce on one side of that building, and then our outlet store on the other, and a warehouse in the back. So that encompasses 3 of the things that you see on the slide in front of you, and then custodial kind of encompasses services throughout the whole building. So if you have an interest in those types of jobs, you could talk to your DARS counselor about your interest in the Goodwill CIG program. So supported employment, again, so we have job coaches who work one-on-one with individuals who are looking for work in the community. And we kind of take you through a process depending on how you're referred to us, kind of what level of support you're referred to us in. So you could either be coming in the job development phase, which is where you could come in through the situational assessment phase, which is where you might not be quite sure what you're looking for. Maybe you don't have a work history and you want to try out different jobs to see what your good fit is. So if you come in through an assessment phase, our job coaches, our employment specialists will help you determine what you want to try out, and we'll help set up those assessments and go through these assessments with you to see what really fits. Job development, once you've kind of figured out what you're looking for, what type of job you would excel at, and where you want to go with that, we'll help you with filling out applications, help you put together a resume, apply to jobs, and then up to practicing interview skills and then interviewing for possible jobs. If the interview is successful and you get a job offer and you accept the job offer, we can assist you on your new job in the placement and training phase, where we would help you learn the job and make sure that you are set up for success on the job before we kind of back off from those services. You could then enter into long-term follow-along services, where we would continue to check on you, but we're not going to be with you every step of the way, because you're independent and you love your job, you're good at it, and we're just going to kind of fade out and support from a distance if needed. So everything with supported employment, we want to involve you and work with you to create your individual plan for success. So you would work one-on-one with the job coach to do that, and we'll create the plan and work with you every step of the way to hopefully help you succeed. So the Department for Aging and Rehabilitation Services are the gatekeepers of these programs. So you can kind of see if you're looking for employment, the options are within the funnel. If you're not looking for employment, you might not be coming through DARS to do that, but you might be looking for a day support program. But if you're interested in employment and you're going through DARS, then we could definitely be one of your options for vendors of that in the community. So as I said, everything we do is person-centered. We want to help create the plan that you want, provide you with options, help you kind of look around and see what the best fit for you is, support your choices every step of the way. We don't want you, if we try out a job and you decide it's not for you, then we'll move on and try something else. We don't want you to settle for something just because it was the first thing that happened. We want to help you improve your skills and definitely kind of set goals along the way and help you achieve those goals. So that's at the forefront of everything that we do in the mission side of Goodwill. So now the thing that is not quite as easy to see how Goodwill offers these services in the community. So I mentioned the one-stop center, which is the Virginia CareerWorks Fredericksburg Center, which is a physical location. Actually, the physical location is between the Goodwill building and the DARS building. If you know where those buildings are, then the CareerWorks Center is about in the middle of those buildings. It is a physical location. I said in the beginning that people commonly refer to it as the VEC, the unemployment office. So a lot of people have become well versed in where that is during these past 18 months. But the VEC is actually just one partner, as I said, in that office. So Goodwill is also a partner, and we administer in this region the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act funding. So that is funding that can assist with training and for a career. Okay, so the youth program specifically is geared towards young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 who are looking to kind of increase their marketability for jobs. So we can assist with, if you qualify, and I'll get to on one of the next slides, the kind of requirements for that. If you qualify for this program and you're accepted into the Wioa Youth Program, we would provide case management and kind of the same things that we do in supported employment, but this is kind of an option, another option if you're not looking for supported employment. So kind of assessing what you're looking for, helping you kind of develop a resume and jobs that might fit your skill level. If you need a credential to get a job, then we can kind of provide you education and training or referrals to education and training beyond high school that would help provide you a credential to get a job. As part of the youth program specifically, there's also some components that help with those skills that you need to be successful in the workplace, but not necessarily in the workplace. So we want to assist you with learning financial literacy skills, how to be independent with your new paycheck that you'll hopefully get, how to manage your money wisely, soft skills enhancement. So helping you kind of work on those skills that aren't as easily taught or as easily seen, helping set you up for success. And helping teach skills that aren't necessarily the job skills that you need, but more of the life skills that you need. Leadership development. If you are in a place where you're ready to work, then you're in a place where you're ready to kind of take charge of your life. So we want to help develop those leadership skills. And then digital literacy. So as part of the services of the Virginia CareerWorks Fredericksburg Center, we offer digital literacy classes. So that could be anything from Microsoft Office skills to learning how to use different job search sites, to learning about Google Workspace, or we also offer free credentials through LinkedIn Learning, which just offers tons and tons and tons of opportunities to receive credentials. So that can be offered to you completely free through just being a part of the Virginia CareerWorks Fredericksburg Center, but specifically the Wioa program. So as I said, the objectives of Wioa are to help you build skills, enhance your employability, and secure and maintain employment, kind of beyond what you're learning in high school. We want to help you with that life that's after school. So Wioa is just one opportunity for training to help you do that. So the eligibility for the Wioa youth, as I said, are individuals between the ages of 18 and 24. You must be a US citizen. Because you are between the ages of 18 and 24, we'll make sure that you are registered as part of the selective service. One of the eligibility requirements for this program are having a documented disability to come into the youth Wioa training program. So if you've had an IEP in school, then that's just one requirement that you can check off to be eligible for Wioa Youth Program. Some of the partners as part of the Virginia CareerWorks Fredericksburg Center, as I said, Goodwill is a partner. Also the local community college system, DARS, Department of Social Services, Virginia Employment Commission. This is not an exhaustive list, but if you come into the Virginia CareerWorks Fredericksburg Center for services, we can help you identify what you're looking for if you're not sure. Wioa is one thing that I talked about this evening just because Goodwill administers that in this area, but maybe it's not what you're looking for. And if you're not sure, we encourage you to kind of check out the website for that office, which is vcwbay.com, listed here. And we can kind of assist with what's next. If you come into the center, there is a physical resource room with computers. We can help you get registered in the systems that are offered there. There is a referral portal called the My Journey portal. We can help get you registered for that, and that can help you identify services in the community that might be a good fit for you as well. So again, some of the other services that are offered in conjunction with the partners from the previous slide, information and community partner referrals, supportive services, basic career services, career-based learning. As I mentioned, we offer LinkedIn Learning, which is just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of training opportunities for you online. It's a pretty cool system. But everything in the Virginia CareerWorks Fredericksburg Center is geared towards helping you succeed in the world of work. So next slide. If you have questions about kind of either of the two avenues that I discussed for Goodwill Services, my information is on here for all of the supported employment programs. And my co-presenter was unable to attend tonight, but if you have any questions about anything related to the CareerWorks Center, you can contact Jessica Weber, and her information is listed right here as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all this information. We do have a couple of questions right here at the end. Our first one is going to be for Jen with the RACSB. How much does a screening for a DD waiver cost my family? And does my child have to be present for the DD waiver screening?
There is no cost for the screening to the family. And yes, the person who is being screened has to be present. It's one of the requirements that it be done face-to-face. We also recognize that some people don't have the attention span to sit for the whole assessment, and that's okay. We just have to see them for part of it. And then if they can't continue, we can manage another way.
Perfect. And then one last one before it breaks out. Do I have to have Medicaid to qualify for mental health services through RACSB?
So good question. No, you don't have to have Medicaid. For our outpatient services like therapy or medication management services, we accept many different insurances. So Medicare, private insurances, Medicaid. Medicaid does cover case management services. It's the only insurance that does, but it's not a disqualifier. If somebody is uninsured or they don't have Medicaid, all of our services can be provided on a sliding fee scale based on income of the individual, so of the adult individual. So if the 18-year-old doesn't have any income, but of course their parents do, we're going to base the cost of the services off of the adult's income. So hopefully that answers the question. So we try to make it affordable to everyone.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Patricia. Our next one is for the DRC. What type of living facilities do you have?
I will admit that our name is somewhat of a misnomer, Center for Independent Living, but people do not live at the DRC. We do not have residential units. Our whole idea is to help people to live as independently as they can. So that would be, once again, having a voice and a choice, but not living in a segregated type of environment where necessarily other people with disabilities and us making decisions for them. So we work on independent living as we do not provide residential spots for anybody.
And how would you go about to qualify for services?
You just walk in our door. If you have if you are an individual with a disability, call us. We do not ask for documentation. If you say you have a disability, we're going to work with you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kim. Our next one is for Erin from DARS. How can I apply for services?
So it's very easy to apply for our services. You just have to call our main office number. It's on our PowerPoint that I believe you will be receiving. But that number is 540-899-4161. And just ask to schedule an intake appointment and they'll get you set up, and those will be done either virtually or in person right now.
And does DARS have a waiting list?
They do not. We do not currently have a waiting list right now. So as soon as your medical records as soon as we get medical documentation of the disability and determine an individual eligible for services, we can start providing those services.
Thank you very much, Erin. Our next questions, the next few that we have is for RGI. Shanna, when can my child apply for Goodwill services?
Anytime. Historically before COVID, we would offer our job help center services for those 16 and up. But if you are work ready and able to work, and you have gone through the process really with DARS first, then they can refer you to our supported employment programs. But if you're 16 and up, you can also access the services of the Virginia Career Work Center as well. For the Wioa youth, it's between the ages of 18 and 24.
Is there a fee to participate with Goodwill?
Not for anything in the Virginia Career Work Center. Our supported employment programs are fee-for-service programs, either through DARS funding or Medicaid waiver, which is also in a way through DARS. DARS first, and then it kicks over. So those are fee-for-service programs, but if you want to come in through the Career Work Center and just find out if you're eligible for Wioa or any of the other programs there, that is absolutely free.
Excellent. And then the last one, does Goodwill offer any services electronically because their offices are closed during COVID?
So our supported employment programs are opening up a little more. We're meeting clients out in the community. If you are coming in for a Goodwill service, Goodwill's physical office is actually still closed. So a lot of our employees are remote, but we're meeting in physical locations like the Career Work Center. So that is open for in-person services. For the digital literacy workshops that they offer there, there are some virtual options there if you're not comfortable coming to those one-on-one classes. But that's the information is on one of the slides as well. So if you can view that presentation, call the office and kind of find out. But so the answer to that question is yes, we are open, but we can also still do virtual services if needed.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That seems to be all the questions that I have this evening.
Thank you so much, everyone. I did put the copy of the slides in the chat. So if you would like, you can click on that link in the chat and download those slides. Thank you so much for all the presenters for joining us tonight. We were very thankful for all of the information. It was wonderful.